I wanted to come on here and talk about this Jessica Taylor, and I know she has doctor in front of her name, but I don't respect her enough to call her by her title. I would probably call her something else before I would call her a doctor. But this person named Jessica Taylor, who is a blue check individual on Twitter, and she's a palm colored woman, who made this very blasphemous, disgusting, and disturbing tweet on her page on November 20th, 2021. Now, if y'all have not done so already, I'm plugging it in right now. Go and watch my review of King Richard that is currently up on my page at the moment. I'll probably link it down below so y'all can see it. If y'all have not done so already, it's a phenomenal film. But she felt some type of way about the title of the film and the fact that it's saluting Venus and Serena's father. And she's not the only one that feels this way. A lot of these so-called echo chamber think pieces have been writing so many inflammatory hit pieces. I know that Black Opinion he did a video talking about some black feminist who decided to do something similar on some kind of blog post or whatever, basically talking about the flaws of Richard Williams. And it's funny because, like I said in the movie, he said that the world never had respect for Richard Williams, but they're going to have respect for you. That first part is so true because it seems like that, even though he said that way back then, it's coming true now. Like, they want to have a movie about Venus and Serena with the exclusion of their dad. When he was the one that was their first coach, he was the one that sacrificed so much in order to make sure that his daughters saw greatness. Like, they literally tried to exclude him and erase him altogether. That's why I had to go in on that Tammy Sawyer the other day, because she tried to say this is a black and woman-owned business and excluding her husband that was the one that practically put up the money to get the business started, and they ran it together for so many years, for over 2 decades, and still are. I know they're going through a little rough patch right now because of what happened, but as far as we know, business is still running. It's still operational. It's not like they're going out of business. And besides the point, the business is ran by a husband and his wife. It's family owned, not black and woman owned. So now we're talking about this tweet right here, where this Jessica Taylor said, did they seriously make a film called King Richard about the success of Serena and Venus Williams, but it's about their dad, Richard? Yes, they did. What gave it away? The title? Captain Obvious? Then she went on to say, I get this has annoyed people. No, you're the only one that's annoyed. One of few, because nobody's annoyed by the fact that they called it King Richard, because we already knew what it was about. We knew it was about their dad. She said, but I genuinely didn't expect the film about two of the most powerful and successful and black female athletes to be named after a man or center a man. Now, let me focus on that right there. I genuinely didn't expect the film about two of the most powerful, successful, and black female athletes to be named after a man. What gave it away? It was called King Richard, not Queen Venus or Queen Serena. The movie is about their dad. As a matter of fact, their dad is the main focal point, while Venus and Serena are more like side characters. But they're still intricate to the story because we know who Venus and Serena are. Mind you, Venus and Serena are co-executive producers on the film, so their name is on the film. And I think their other siblings' names is on it as well. The other sisters that were featured in the movie are on it as well. And I believe this is based off of a book that Richard Williams did under the same title that Will Smith bought the rights to in order to have this film be made. So they made sure to cross all their T's and dot all their I's before this movie was even made. And from what I've heard, I think they said that Venus and Serena did not put themselves down as executive producers until they saw the film, because they didn't want to put their names on something that they didn't think was good, which I can respect. But the movie was beyond good. It was phenomenal. Like I said, this is probably one of the best movies I've seen all year, and probably one of the best depictions I've seen of a black dad in a movie in a very, very long time. It was practically, in my opinion, a breath of fresh air. But you have this woman right here. Let me finish what she says. She says, to be named after a man or centered on a man. She's making it seem like their dad is not worth talking about. Now, I wonder what she would have said if it was about their mother. because you know the mother wasn't in life, but she probably wouldn't have had nothing to say. She probably would have singing the praises. See, this is this intersectionality, this feminist and everything. And I actually requoted tweet this, and I said, Black women, I said, this is why y'all did not need to be linked up with feminism, because you have people like this, a whole white woman who is upset at the title of a movie and the fact that it's focused on a man who happens to be the father of two of the best tennis players that probably have ever graced the tennis court or held a tennis racket or hit a tennis ball. Like, their name rings bells in that sport. And she's upset at that. She goes on to say, I would have loved this film to be all about them and not a man. See, again, the fact that she keeps saying a man, she doesn't even have enough respect to say their father in her little insulting rant. She says a man as if Richard Williams is just some bum that they just threw on the title and made a movie about, as if he has no significance at all to the part that he plays in Venus and Serena's life, as if he's just some nobody. And what is she upset because now this black father is finally getting some shine, the much needed shine that he should have been had for years. I've said for years that Richard Williams should have been really put on a pedestal, not just because of him grooming and raising the two best tennis stars that have ever played the game, but because he is one of the archetype of what a black father should be. You know, we don't, in the black community, we don't have too many examples of great black fathers that are pushed like that. And they're mad about that. They're probably mad because, you know, he's maybe too masculine, or he's too black, or too this or too that. But they will love if the story of if Venus and Serena was raised by a single mother and she did it, because, you know, that's a heroic story for every black narrative, is something like that. That's just like the ultimate Cinderella story. And they couldn't get it with this one, so they hate it. So this Jessica Taylor, I went to her page, and lo and behold, she's not even from America. She's not even from the continent. She's not from Mexico. She's not from the US. She's not from Canada. This heifer is all the way from London. She lives in London. That's what it says in her bio. It said London, England. She got a problem with a film that was made in America about a black American family. And she's a whole PC woman living in London. Imagine that. She got an issue from across the pond. This is why when people say when it comes to Dub S, you need to really pay attention to that PC female, because if you only focus on the man, you will miss what's going on who's really pulling the strings behind the scenes, and it's people like her. And to all you divestors out there that wants to be talking about Blackistan and leaving Blackistan, y'all have no dog in this fight either, because the same talking points that she's using right here, y'all get the same marching orders from her. Because I swear, if you was to close your eyes or put a divester up there, she would say the same exact thing. Like that Tammy Sawyer who wrote that tweet that I went in on before in another video. She's doing the same thing, and them divestors will probably agree with her. Now, people went in on her, and rightfully so. Like, if you see all these retweets and stuff, these aren't people agreeing with her. These are people going in on her. Like, they are dragging her all up and through social media, or Twitter, especially right now, because this is what we're on. Now, one thing I also noticed too, because I wanted to be sure, I went to her page and I started to scroll down a little bit, and I noticed something. Now, she has a blue check. It's black on here because I have the dark mode on. She has a blue check, so you would think that a lot of her tweets will gain a lot of traction. Not necessarily. So I started to scroll through her page beyond this tweet right here. And she does not have a lot of engagement with other people. Not saying she doesn't tweet other people, but I'm talking about people who engage with her in tweets that she puts. But it wasn't until she posted this tweet right here that she got a flood of responses. So I think that not only is she saying this from a feminist standpoint, a racist standpoint, but I also believe that she's talking like this from I need attention standpoint. Or an I'm trolling standpoint, because there's no way that anybody of sound mind, no matter where they are in the world, could look at a title for a movie called King Richard and assume that it's about anything but what it's about. Like, look at this. Like, like, really look at what she put. Did they seriously make a film called King Richard? Yes, they did. And by they, we're talking about Venus and Serena Williams. And she even insulted them because she said, did they? She didn't even say, did Venus and Serena Williams make a film called King Richard? She said, did they? But you know, they love a good pronoun. But it's about their dad, Richard. We understand you may not have had your dad in your life. And if he did, he probably didn't groom you the way that Richard Williams groomed his kids. And you're probably upset about that, but don't take that out on them, on their dad, because apparently your father or whoever, your sperm donor, whoever, did not do a good job raising you, Jessica Taylor. Like I said, I don't have enough respect for her to call her doctor. I don't care what she has a doctor degree in. It says that I'm looking at it says best-selling rad femme author, rad femme. Chartered psychologist, she needs one, PhD forensic psychology, fellowship RSA award, victim focus, media, TV, radio agent at TBP_agency. That's what her bio says. But the first thing she puts in there is best-selling rad femme author, aka radical feminist. She didn't even say best-selling author. She had to make sure that she put in there that she's a radical feminist. Because many of them lead with that. Nowadays, they lead in with pronouns and other things too. I'm telling you, these are some of the most confused, unhappy, and hurt people walking the face of the earth. And I swear some of them need to just go outside and touch some grass, cut or otherwise. But this like literally just like kind of riled me up a little bit, because I hate that, you know, there's such a great movie that was made that's celebrating the success story of this black man who literally came from nothing and literally fueled it into his children for success to get them where they are today. And then you have to see posts like this. Like, this really irks me. And you know, if you are a black father, this should piss you off as well. Because that's like an insult to you, because you may like, especially if you're a black father with daughters, because maybe you're trying to push them to excel, to get the positions that you may not have been able to reach. And this should hit you as well. And the tweet is still up. Like, she posted it at 9:12 a.m. this morning. I'm recording it on the 20th. And people are still going in on her and I know she has to see this. I know she has to see these responses. And she's probably she's probably pretending not to even be fazed by anything that the people are saying. Because, you know, whenever it comes to the disrespect of a black man, they don't care about the optics of it, just as long as they put it out there for the masses to see. And I said, this is probably the most attention she's gotten on her Twitter page ever. And I do mean ever, because like I said, I scrolled through her page. She didn't have that much engagement on her other tweets, but this one was the one that really blew up. So it's like she knew which trigger points to hit. So like I said, she's doing this because she's a feminist. She's doing this because she's a racist. And she's doing this for attention. And she has all three wrapped up in a bottle. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments.